This is a
Sun rising.
This is a major
I think
attack.
an escalation. It's an escalation of this war.
Let's go to the next story ambayo ni ya Iran. So Iran has just fired missiles on Israel. That is yesterday night.
Yeah.
And it went crazy because no one was really expecting it, including Israel. It fired, I think, 180 of them on Israel soil, and it is said that schools were hit, base camps were hit, that is military camps were hit, and hospitals were hit. But it's not something that was really expected. At first, no one claimed responsibility, but later on, the Iranian government did. It is the second time they're doing it. The first time, I was successful because I think Israel were ready or something, and they intercepted almost all of them. Do you think, before I get to what you think, I want to ask, do you think this is World War III loading?
I think so, bro. I think it is. We are not so far from
World War III.
World War III.
Yeah.
Doesn't somebody may think that we're trying to ring some false alarm, but what I'm saying that is the same thing by there during these pandemics when they happen. Remember when COVID happened, like it looked like it's not really until it hit us. When people are saying that this thing is coming, anybody who wasn't affected were like, this thing is not coming. This is just news. The media is just trying to make us panic, which in a way is a very, very valid statement, because most of the time the media always overreact to many things. They always exaggerate almost everything.
Yes.
But then sometimes
yeah,
sure. But sometimes it's good to try to give it some of this news attention, because sometimes it could really affect you. Right now it's easier to talk about it when it's so far, thousands and thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
But considering what has happened, if you look at the structure of this war, how it has been shaping up, you can't help but think that this can just get worse. Because first, we know, number one, that Israel doesn't get attacked and didn't fight back.
Yes.
Like anytime you fight Israel, you should just be ready to. It's like whatever Michuki said, that anytime you play with a snake's tail, you should be ready to be rattled by it.
Yes.
So anytime you're playing with Israel, it's like it's not a matter of if, but when you are going to get attacked. So when you look at it right now, it's clear that why this looks like something that is going to metamorphose to a World War III, if not checked really, really fast, is number one, if things continue remaining the same, because I believe the US election is going to be the game changer for this war. It can either allow this to continue or to stop, depending on who is going to be elected.
Yes.
Somebody might argue against that because there are people who are in the different teams and they have their own whatever. But personally, I'm not from US, so I don't care who wins. But as far as the death that is happening in Israel and Iran, and right now and also in Lebanon, we just have to
Gaza.
help. Gaza, for instance. Also the one that is happening also in Ukraine and Russia. This whatever is happening right now is going to be affected so much by the US election results, because of the allies that have been formed right now. Because as we look at the World War, how it started, the second and the third one, it was not
the first and the second.
And the second one, it was an allied thing. Like the moment countries start fighting and the other one fights not because it wants to, but because it's protecting or fighting for the ally, that's how war begins and spreads. So for instance, it just gradually started with Israel attacking Gaza. Then in a way, US did not condemn it. Then we came to realize that US in a way was supporting it.
Yes.
Then now they started also they threatened to invade Lebanon.
Yes.
And by the way, what people also should know that the same day yesterday when there was this attack, there was also another attack, same in Israel, but now by the gunmen who came and shot around 8 people. And according to the defense force, the Israelites, they say that the guys are not even Israelites. So there's a possibility that there's a connection between the guys who came and killed guys on that gunfire and the attack that was done by was it by Iran?
Yes.
And it was in response, and also this is in response to whatever Israel did the other day, because remember the 2 days ago, Israel decided to invade Lebanon.
Yes.
Because there's that belief in the Israeli government that Lebanon is supposed to be part of Israel. And I remember there was this time that the UN really warned Israel not to try to invade Lebanon, but they went ahead and did it anyway. And I think this one also is what triggered now the guys who are seen as the allies to Gaza, the allies to Lebanon, now who are now Iran, who are now to fight back. And it can only get ugly now because, for instance, now Israel are with the US, right?
Yes.
I just believe that now the likes of Russia, the likes of Korea are just going to go to side with the guys from Iran and Lebanon.
Yes.
And that's going to, and the Middle East too will have no choice but to side with their fellow Arabs. They're going to side with the Lebanon.
Even China, yeah?
Even China, because China, they have that pact with the Russian government, which is also against the US. So they can only go on the side that is against the US, which is clearly the Iran side.
Yes.
So if it builds and that formation works and people start fighting, then it's going to be a world war because it's going to start to involve Africa.
And even what is more scary is the fact that the Israeli prime minister said that whatever Iran did, they have to know that there are consequences for that.
And remember that's what also they said the time when Hamas attacked them for the first time.
Yes.
He said the exact thing.
Yes.
They should know that wherever they did, there must be consequences. And the consequences we are still seeing until this moment. They're still on Gaza because of that one single attack. So this is not something that is going to look nice. And this is just something that, because we people from Africa, we don't have so much power. We can only advise the guys from...
We don't know who to side with.
We don't know who to side with. By the way, people out there can think that Africans, we care so much about the war that is happening there. We really don't. What we want is, we care about the fact that there shouldn't be war.
Yeah,
we just want peace.
We care about Congo.
Yeah, we care about Congo.
We care about South Sudan.
South Sudan and Somalia here.
Yeah, because, and I mean, I'm just saying this because even if you look at what is happening in Congo and what is happening in South Sudan, do you think the people of Gaza, the people of Iran care about that?
They don't.
They care about what is happening in the ground.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, so it is the same way. Even if whatever is happening in Iran,
it could be affecting us, especially financially.
It has,
but not directly.
Yeah, it's actually affecting us. But then look at it this way: if Africans were going through what Israel, Iran, and Gaza and Lebanon are going through, do you think those guys would honestly think, care?
Nah,
they would care less.
They will care less. They'll. Of course, some of them will make noise, but it will just be noise. But they won't care so much. They won't really care so much.
The other day, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and he was telling me, why is it that we are seeing many people just go ahead on Instagram and post, pray for Gaza, what is happening in Gaza is not right. But you see very few of us also write, pray for South Sudan.
In Congo.
Pray for Congo. And we were talking about this like a month or a few weeks before Mandamano. And he told me, if something starts happening in your country, is when you realize you really don't have anyone. Because, for example, when people are being killed in Kenya by snipers, when children were dying, when Rongai was on fire, when Githurai was on fire, who was there to help us?
Nobody. In fact, we could just see our president meeting with the same guys who were supposed to fight for us. Yeah.
Even international media, they're just condoning. The worst they could do, the biggest thing they could do is just condone.
With the strongest terms possible. Yes. That's what they always say. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you realize that as a country, you're just alone. So as Africa, we really want there to be peace, because world war is going to affect all of us.
All of us, yeah. When it gets down to world war, it has now to concern us.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, do you think we failed Congo in a way as Africans? Because why I'm saying this is, there's a reason why we don't really care about whatever is happening in Gaza so much, like people in Africa, right? We don't really, to be honest, we don't really care so much. The same way, we don't really care so much about whatever happening between Ukraine and Russia. In fact, we care because we believe, because it affects us economically, especially the one in Russia.
And also it's been amplified by the media.
Exactly. So we care about whatever it affects us with, but we don't really care about what's happening there. And when I say we, I don't really believe, I'm not trying to say that everybody, because there are people who really do care, like us, we are talking about this. But I'm talking about the majority don't even know whatever is happening out there.
Yes.
But at least something we know, there's a difference between whatever is happening in Congo and whatever is happening in Iran and in Gaza. And that is, it's so much well known, it's so much amplified outside there. Everybody's talking about it. Even if the people who don't know so much, if the people who are not concerned about it, at least they know it's happening.
Yes.
There are many people, even if you go right now to the upcountry, I believe that out of 10 people, you'll at least find some people who know about the war in Gaza. But out of those 10 people, it's very unlikely for you to even find one person who knows that there's very serious war, genocide that is taking place in Congo right now.
Yes.
And in Southern Sudan.
Yes.
And that for a moment, it hit me, and when we were just about to start having this conversation, I just couldn't help but ask myself, does it mean that we failed Congo? Because the guys in Gaza, their story is known because the guys over there are really talking about it, especially their media, the CNN and the Al Jazeeras of the world. They're really pushing this story out there. But bro, when last did you ever see Citizen TV? So is it the media or is it the people? When last did you ever see Citizen TV talking about whatever is happening in Congo? And I'm not talking Citizen TV specifically. When I talk about Citizen TV, like I talk about all of these mainstream media houses. And not even only the mainstream, even the social media, because we have guys, the news guy, those guys, they have their own news platforms. But why aren't they talking about Congo? Because I believe that if we talk about this enough, there will be help. If not from outside, at least from within Africa.
Yes.
See, I believe there will be some help that will get there. But why is it? Don't you feel that, or don't you think that we've failed our fellow Africans when it comes to when things happen to us? Because even when people think so, people are dying in Kenya during the demonstrations. Of course, the whole world stood with us. Yes. But specifically from Africa, we did not see people from Africa really pushing this issue. I remember when people like from Uganda, Tanzania, and Nigeria, instead of talking even about the people who are being killed, they were busy comparing themselves with us, telling their young people that, why don't you be like Kenya? Why don't you do why don't you demonstrate like them? You guys are just busy posting nudes and all that. But I was like, these guys were never talking about what Ruto was doing to the young people who are being killed on the streets. They never talked about that. And is it the problem we have as Africans, or am I the one who's just overthinking and being a victim mentality? It is just victim mentality. It is just the problem of. I'll give you a good example of when Gidurai was hit, no one talked about it. See, but Kenyans did. Some Kenyans did. Especially on Twitter. Yes. Okay, my point is, or when you say no one, you mean by saying no one, it just means like you at home, if you are just feeling sorry for them. Yeah, like sure. it has happened for them because you're not from Githurai. When it happened in Rongai, you were just sorry for them because there's a video Larry put yesterday, and he said when Kenyans when youth were dying, no one spoke because they are not youth. When journalists were dying, no one spoke because they are not journalists. When your time will come, no one will speak. They'll speak for you because there won't be anyone to speak. So, in other words, I think it just hits so hard when it's home. Like you can only know the pain that you're going through because you're a Kenyan. So Ugandans will just get the news, and they'll just hear 2 people have died, someone was killed, and then they'll get the big news that Kenyans have penetrated the parliament. That's all. So you're comfortable before it affects the same way. The same way. I'm just going to tell you. The same way. We do not have exact details. Which schools were hit, which hospitals were hit, and we cannot feel the exact pain that Israel is feeling right now. But at least my point is, I'm not even for the people feeling about it. Okay, making it known outside there won't hurt. Okay, it's okay, it doesn't affect you. Personally, I talked about Githurai so much. I pushed so much about it. If you check my ex, I really pushed for it. You see? But I don't come from Githurai. I don't even know if I have a relative around there. But I just feel like can't we just look at things from a point of we're all human beings, and if something affects somebody else, it doesn't necessarily have to affect me. But the same thing you're saying that whatever Larry Madowo posted about when they came for the media houses, people, and then nobody spoke for them, and now many people kept quiet, and now when it was your time, nobody was there to speak for you because now nobody talked because there was nobody to speak for you. That is very valid. But now my point is getting it known, and I feel like getting it known out there and being affected by it don't need to be the same.
Yes.
Like it cannot, I'm not trying to say that, hey, Africans nataka msikie uchungu juu wa Kenya waliuliwa. Like that's not what I'm asking for. Because that's up to you and your conscience and whatever you feel. But considering that statement you just made, how don't you feel like these guys, okay, in Africa, the issues that are affecting Africa are not talked about enough. Like right now, okay, fine, we are talking about Gaza, tuko hapa. But who is talking about, when last did you ever see DRC Congo trending anywhere? I
get your point.
Wait, my
it's
point.
So sad, but
yeah, things happen in Africa.
It is very valid.
Somalia, it's been like has been ungovernable for the longest time.
Yeah, but no one talks about it.
Nobody's talking about it. In fact, when Israel is about to attack, not even attacks, just warning to attack,
it's news.
It's news all over. We even knew about these guys, Russia planning to attack Ukraine even before it happened. And this guy were pushing for it. In fact, it was an egg on the face of the president of the US because they knew about it even before it happened, but they allowed it too. But in Africa, DRC Congo, bro, South Sudan, all this stuff is happening. As we speak right now, bro, there's a child that died in DRC Congo.
Yes.
Nobody's talking about it. But tomorrow you'll see, even before the end of the day, you are going to see the pictures and the videos of the children who have been killed in Israel today. I can bet my bottom dollar on that. And for me, unless it's because we don't have the big, somebody can argue maybe we don't have the big media houses like these guys have. I don't know.
But they have correspondents all over the world.
Exactly. No, I'm not talking for them. Them not talking about us is okay. I'm talking about us Africans speaking for us. Yes. Our media houses speaking for us. Our issues getting known outside there. I just feel it is less happening. And I don't know whether the problem is the people, ama the media, or as I was saying, or is it because there is no that major media house in Africa that you can say that is watched throughout the world compared to these guys. They have Al Jazeera's, they have the CNN and the BBC. I don't know. But I think that's just something we need to think about as Africans, man.
True.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't know what to say that about it, but I do know that anything that happens in Africa will just stay in Africa because we are either shy to speak about it, we are either shy to not be seen that we are desperate or we are struggling, and also the fact that most media or most international media, they turn a blind eye to what is happening in Africa, and it is.
Now, presenter Ali.